Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, God is good all the time, especially today. I got an absolutely fantastic guest that's going to be on the show today. Cannot wait to introduce you all to him. This young man is doing a lot of great things, uh, throughout the world, not just in the United States, but all over. And he's building lives, teaching lives, teaching people how to develop their skills, their talent, their character. He's doing it all, but he's doing this because he leads by example, and it was taught of him. And it's just one of the ways for him to give back to society, but he's giving back in a big way because I tell you, there's ain't no better gift than to give the gift of teaching and also incorporate the teaching of God and the talents that you have. So I want everybody to sit back, grab you about 5 or 6 bags of popcorn, and regardless of where you listen to the show at right now, E360 TV, over 20, 25 plus streaming networks. Also, the radio, KCBQ, FM 96.1, San Diego, AM 1170. The answer, I tell you, we are going to do it. And if you want to call into the show, that's 1-866-577-2473. So I tell you what, let me bring the radio audience in. Todd, let's get this thing started. Let's do it. Okay. We want to bring the radio
It's Your
side in.
Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley. Life is a series of circles, phases, and stages. These are your experiences that teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the James Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and to overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome to It's Your Life. I'm James Cooley, and wow, I got an absolutely fantastic guest. We got Coach Eric Cooper that's going to be sharing with us his experiences, and I tell you all the great things that he's doing in enhancing lives, and also he's teaching about the Word of God and just instilling that in it. And there's no better way to do that, and also to help shape great minds. And not just that, but he's a mentor, coach, leader, and just somebody that's just, I tell you, God gift to earth. And it's such a pleasure having this guy on the show today. And I just want you guys to sit back, grab you about 5 or 6 bags of popcorn, and join in on the conversation. If you want to be part of the conversation, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can call into the radio station at 1-866-577-2473, or you could go in the comments wherever you're watching this at, whether you're watching it on StreamYard, uh, E360 TV, YouTube channel, whatever whatever method that you're watching it on, you can be part of it. But grab you a couple of bags of popcorn. I tell you what, I am going to bring this guy on right now because he is so fantastic. And welcome to the show, Eric.
Thank you very much, man. Happy to be here.
Hey, man, I'm glad to have you here, man. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, ever since we first talked about having you on. And in the title of the show that we're going to be talking about today is Reaching the World Through Christ in Basketball. And I tell you, um, I cannot wait to hear a lot of the things that you're doing because doing our research, me and Michelle, it's just fantastic. So before we get started, I want everybody to know. So the purpose of the show is getting to know the founder of Dream Builders and current head coach and founder of Cooper International Academy Prep School, Mr. Eric Cooper. We're going to discuss his nonprofit and all the things that they're doing and how you all can help out with some of the things that he's doing. We're also going to discuss Cooper International Academy Prep School, most importantly, we're going to discuss how his faith enabled him to give back to others, and you're giving back so much. So Eric, first of all, can you tell our listeners and our viewers where you grew up and a little bit about your background? And I'm gonna give you the big screen.
All right. I'm from the Los Angeles area. I was technically born in Hollywood, at the Kaiser in Hollywood, my parents told me. And we ended up settling in Carson, California. And when I was a youngster, right around probably 8, my parents split up, and I ended up taking off to Compton, California, where my grandmother lived and my mom's family. My mom had 16 brothers and sisters from Memphis, Tennessee, and my dad moved out towards Culver City. So I ended up staying in Compton and Lynwood and continued going to schools out in where the kids from Carson went. So I went to Banning High School, and I pretty much got to see, the streets of Compton. Grew up playing basketball outside, with the gangbangers and just a lot of different type of elements out there. And basketball kind of kept me grounded and moving in the right direction.
So Eric, you was a legend in your own, and I want to show something real quick because um, in order, I believe, in order to teach, you have to have first been led, and you have to have the understanding. And so you was an All American basketball player in high school, and went on to Arizona and Texas, San Antonio. But I want to give them a quick glimpse of you when you was in high school and what your
Uh-oh.
coaches had to say. Here we go.
When you think of Banning High School, the first thought that probably comes to mind is their perennially powerful football team. But all that is changing, and in a big way, because this season the Pilots are third-ranked basketball team in the city. And much of the responsibility for Banning's success falls squarely on the shoulders of two highly touted seniors, Eric Cooper and Joe Johnson. Cooper, a 6'4", 170-pound guard, was named to several preseason prep All-America squads and has already signed a letter of intent to play for Lute Olson at Arizona.
Well, he can go to the hole and he can change his shot up, and he's completely ambidextrous. He can use either hand, and he dribbles well with either hand, and he's almost impossible to contain in a one-on-one situation.
Cooper's play clearly backs up his coach's words. Offensively, he is a force from both inside and out. He is certainly not afraid to drive to the hoop, mixing it up as he looks for an opening. And Cooper also has a deadly outside shot. So, although he was recruited as a point guard, it's obvious that he feels comfortable at either backcourt position.
Well, scoring inside, I get a lot of three-point plays. That's what I try to do. But, I shoot outside. Depends on what the situation calls for.
You mentioned what the situation calls for, and I wanted to pick that up because that's how you lead by example, and that's how you are working with so many youth. You build so many lives, and depending on the situation or circumstances, I believe that you have to treat each one of the children or kids or young adults that you're working with uh, uh, kind of, I wouldn't say different, but to identify whatever the situation that comes their way or come your way in order to teach them.
Yeah,
Can you talk about that a little bit?
yeah, man. It's funny because everybody's going to tell a story one day. Everybody. Doesn't matter what you do, good or bad. And it depends on how you approach it and how you deal with it is going to be the story. And so for me, you said, well, he went to the University of Arizona and then to Texas, San Antonio. That's key because I averaged 25 points a game with no three-point line and got a full scholarship to Arizona. Played with the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. He was there at the time. NBA, Hall of Famers, Sean Elliott, Judd Bushler, Tom Tolbert, Anthony Cook, like 11 dudes went to the NBA. And when I got there, I did not understand what I was doing. I had a Hall of Fame coach, won a national title in the NCAA, and he was speaking Chinese to me like I just didn't understand what I was doing. I could play individually, but when it got to playing with 5 guys who are on the highest level, I wasn't prepared. And so, so I went through my career, and I remember 7 years later, I'm playing overseas, and something in me, I had Christ in me, of course. And so God would give me different things to think about. And I just said, hey, I need to call my college coach, because I hadn't talked to him since I left Arizona. And he said, Eric, hang around, talk to me in the morning. I know you have some discrepancies. Just sleep on it and get with me in the morning. And I said, okay. And I went home and called a press conference. And I had every news channel in my dorm saying, I'm leaving Arizona. I was kind of, just did things without thinking. And he said, next morning, he said, hey, I can't help you, So I called him 7 years later, and I apologized to him and said, you know what, coach, it wasn't your fault. I didn't understand how to play. I didn't understand what you wanted from me. But I just want to thank you for all that you did. I had a chance, at least before he died, to talk to him. He was actually in Germany where I was, which is crazy because I had no idea. And he told me to come down, and I stayed with him for 2 or 3 days. And he just conveyed to me that, Eric, I loved you all the way through the process. Even though you didn't listen, even though you was hard-headed, and so it taught me a lot about myself, a lot about coaches, a lot about, us as players. We can take home something and be negative about it. But in reality, that coach had nothing but good things for me. He wanted me to go right to the NBA or do what I wanted to do. But like I said, I want to be in the right place at the right time, not just in the right place. And so God has a way of making sure that you'll get to where you want to go at the right time. And so it was just a blessing to be able to go through that process and now do what I do because of that feeling. I want all these kids to have an opportunity to get there, understand what the coach is talking about, have the character to deal with it, and then have something to rely on in Christ when you down on a certain day or when you up on a certain day. God is right there to help guide you through that process. And you don't have to do it on your own, but you can do it.
Well, you mentioned, this is an education in disguise. Yeah. So, has God always been the center point of your life, or did you have one of those aha moments where it
Absolutely.
just, can you
Absolutely
tell us
not.
about
Absolutely not. I went through that whole the whole youth portion of my life. We went to church every now and then, but it wasn't something that was like really enforced in our daily habits. I remember my dad used to go in the room at night, turn the lights off, and I'd be like, Dad, why are you in here with the lights out? He's like, I'm meditating. So he would say he was meditating. So he would do something to get spiritually closer to something, but he did not tell me this is God, this is Christ, this is this and that at that point. But in his own right, he was definitely saying, look, you need to take some time and have some type of spiritual awakening, which I didn't know about till after college. So fast forward to 1980, 89, I would believe. And I didn't know 1990, 91, I believe. Yes. 2 years out of college, I still hadn't played. Things, just weird stuff happened, injuries. I separated my shoulder at a camp, a G League or D League type camp. Just different things went wrong over the 2 years. And I was close to the end. My dad hit me and said, hey, I'm no longer going to finance your situation. You're going to have to do this, or you have to go get a job. Okay. And so what I did is I got on my knees. No, what I did was my girlfriend at the time, we were living in San Antonio, and I went to Mexico to do a basketball camp, came back, and my girlfriend at the time told me she had given her life to Christ. Now, this is over 2 or 3 days. I thought, no, there's no way that happened in 2 or 3 days. I just left, and it did. And so I tried hard for 2 days to convince her to go back to her regular ways. And like I said, on the third day, she rose up and was like, nope, I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I was like, wow, all right, well, I'm out. So I left and went to LA and left her in San Antonio.
You know,
And then,
I tell you,
go ahead.
hold that thought because we're gonna take a station break. But
No problem.
I want to pick it up as soon as we get back. I want to pick it up, and you know, it's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Streaming now on the Answer San Diego app and Odyssey.com.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phases and stages. These are your experiences that teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James Cooley is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. Dr. Cooley is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I'm just sitting back enjoying this great guest of mine, Eric Cooper, and he was explaining to us. I asked him the question was, God always a part, meaning that number one, the centerpiece of his life, and I want to pick it up from there, Eric, because you were telling about your girlfriend, who's now your wife, I think 31 years. How she changed her life overnight. So can you pick it up from there?
Yeah. So like I said, I was in San Antonio. She gave her life to Christ. I decided to leave and go to California, back home, and find it on my own. I thought, who is this? Who is this God, a person that's more controlled my girl more than me? I thought I had it down pat, and then realized that I didn't. And when I was in LA, I found myself intrigued at that point because she stood so strong. This thing must be, because I've never, witnessed anything that was stronger than me, in my opinion. And so I found myself in church by myself, just trying to see what this is all about, And what I did was I just said, okay, God, if you real, I had one of them. If you real, I want to be a pro basketball player. That's all I want to do. And I had a list of things. I want I want to make at least 150,000 a year. I at least want to do this. You know, the small goals in looking back at it. But at that point, I just had a list of things and I didn't know what to do or how to do it. I didn't know anything. And I just wrote it down and I signed it. And I said, if you give me these things, I'll follow you for the rest of my days. And another clause, P.S., don't give me anything that would stop me from getting into heaven. And
Wow.
that was it. And so 2 weeks later, I had my first job overseas. 2 weeks later, I couldn't get into pro basketball for anything. I signed that, and 2 weeks later, I was playing pro ball and did not look back. But it wasn't easy, though. It wasn't easy. So I gave my life to Christ that day in 1991 in August. And I went overseas 2 weeks later. And 3 months in, I asked my wife to marry me. I asked that girl to marry me. And she said, okay. She had been working for an oil and gas company. And she's an accountant for 5 years already. And she sold her house, sold everything she owned, and left and went to Europe and came over there, and we got married in Europe. And, you know, we was making a whole bunch. We was making $1,500 a month as a pro basketball player. And 1 month in, guess what happened? I got fired. They came to me and said, I know you just got married, and I know that this is your first job, but we're going to release you, you know. And I said, wow. They was like, you know, I had to muster up everything I could, you know, and keep the Christian mentality. You know, we had put 10,000 miles on that car, going to pastors and preachers at military bases. And we were just trying to get as much word as we could in us, because I didn't know this was about to happen, but I needed that word at the time. So we thanked them for firing us, you know, and we said, hey, you know, and they was like, hey, you got to go home. And I was like, go home? I was like, no, God brought me here. I'm not going home. And they was looking at me like, well, you got to get out of my house. And I was like, sir, respectfully speaking, God put me here. Now, can you give me a week? You know, because I'm, you know, give God a couple of days to do. Guess what? By the time I got home, 30 minutes later, I got a phone call saying, hey, we got a team in Germany that might want you. I just heard you got cut, from an agent I didn't even know. And I said, okay. He said, well, you're going to get on a train tomorrow. Leave your wife there. Get on a train. Go try out. You can come back and get her after you know, make the team. And so I got on a train, went down, made the team, came back, got my wife. They paid me all my money, which normally don't happen. But because we were so nice and Christian-like, they gave me all my money after firing me from the first job. Went to the second job, got a whole nother contract, averaged 28 points a game, changed what was wrong with me. My wife was passing me the ball, you know, while I was trying to change my jump shot. And I changed it. And a year later, I'm making six figures doing the same thing, you know. So God is just real, real good, and a bunch of miracles and things happen along the way that's unexplainable only by Christ. So,
wow, man.
Yeah.
So you played over 10 years over in Europe.
Overseas.
And so when did it click in to you that, well, this is what I want to do, not just in playing, but I want to teach others that when I reached out to God and I asked him for these things, and all of a sudden, bam, that the belief was there, in regardless what type of trials and tribulations you might have experienced, just like with the first cut, that you wasn't going anywhere. And now you are doing great things, making sure that other young youth and young adults and people have that same feeling that they can do anything that they set their mind to. So when did you decide that you wanted to be a coach after you finished playing pro ball?
Well, I came back home, and I kind of immediately went into to coaching maybe a couple of years after I got home. First, I came home and first thing I did is I played with Magic Johnson on his World Traveling All-Star team. So I did a full year of Magic Johnson being my boss. I wake up every day, drive down to UCLA, had practice, and he tried to get me to think like him. Like, when I think about this, I'm like, wow, how many people? There's some people who played with Magic on the team with the Lakers. How many people have had an opportunity to have that icon say, I'm trying to get you to think like me every day and deposit everything he has into me? And so it was a true blessing to get to learn how to win through one of the very best to ever play the game. And so I ended up going to the WNBA right away to become a coach. So I'm coaching with the Phoenix Mercury in early 2000s. And I had a kid at that time. My son was born in 1995. And I'm coaching. So it's almost like he see me on TV more than he see me in person, because in 6 months, I got to live in Phoenix to be in the WNBA. And then I caught on a job with Scott Brooks, who's a former NBA coach too. And I coached in the ABA for the other 6 months. So I'm like, it's sort of like I'm back in Europe traveling again. And, there was a point where my son was, 5 years old, 7 years old, whatever. I came home. I know my brother's not going to like this when I tell you, but I came home and my brother was in charge of, training my kids or coaching my son and his son. His son was 2 years older. And I come to practice one day, I'm a WNBA coach, and I come to practice, and my brother's like, have him doing layups on the left side with the right hand. That's cardinal sin. You got to left hand, left side layup, and right hand, right. And I'm like, Carl, why you got him? My brother played college basketball at Northridge. Like, why you got him making right hand layups on the left? He's like, well, they're young, they don't. I said, dude, whatever you teach them as a kid, they're going to learn it the right way. And so that day I went home, talked to my wife and said, I'm about to quit pro sports altogether. I'm going to train my kid and give him a chance. And that was the day and my brother became my assistant. And from that point on, me and him have coached on every level from that point on. And as the kids grew and got older, then I became the next coach. So when they went to high school, I became their high school coach. And, I just kept going with it. And I never stopped. I never thought I would do this. I thought I'd be in the NBA by now, but this is where I am.
Wow, we got one of our listeners is asking you a question. Would you say when you don't look for it, it will find you, as related to what God placed in your life? Can you respond to that question before we go to the break?
Yeah, when you don't look for it, it'll find you. I live like that because people come into my life, things come into your life, opportunities come into your life. I'm looking for the right opportunity. I'm looking for the opportunity that God has blessed, because it's going to work. When I left the WNBA and went to AAU, 2 years later, a former NBA player, Baron Davis, donated over $100,000 to our team. And we ended up going and winning the national championship at 12 and under, because the time was right. Like, God knew what he was doing. And I had to stop looking for it, and another thing is, when I left Magic Johnson, I ended up starting my own travel team like Magic had. And how did I start it? Someone called me and said, God told me to give you a call. And I'm like, what? Because I didn't know what I was going to do at first. How I was going to make money or anything coaching kids. Who knows? I don't know. So this guy called me and said, hey, man, I got a tour for you. You're going to be able to take players over, at least 12 to 16 players overseas. You're going to be able to pay them a salary. You're going to get paid from the Chinese people. You're going to do 16 days in China every time you go. And you may go 2-3 times a year. And I'm like, how's that possible? I ended up going 2-3 times a year, my own team, my own name on it, and taking pro players that that got out of college, didn't know how to get in because I was like that. And I helped them to get experience, get jobs overseas, and do things. And guess what I did? Well, every time God gives you something, he has a chance. You have a chance to mess it up. So what did I do? I went and got 2 pastors. And on every trip, I took 2 pastors with me, and we introduced the gospel to every kid that came on. That's the whole, you get to go on a trip. I'm going to pay you some money. You have a chance to go overseas and play ball, but you're going to have to hear the gospel.
Wow. Hey, won't you hold that thought? We got to take this break. We want to hold that thought about the 2 pastors. And coming back from the break, we're going to pick it up and we're going to get off into Cooper's basketball academy and all those great things. So if you want to be part of this great conversation, you can call in at 1-866-577-2473, or you can go to the comments. Ask this great man any question you want to. Is your life? I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Well, I'm Brian McKnight, and I support Eric Cooper and the Dream Builders Incorporated Foundation. He's doing a great thing here. Not only are we helping guys that are trying to make it as professional basketball players, but it's a life sort of help situation. It's a Christian organization run by Christians that we help out in every aspect of life, and our lives are an example to these guys that are coming up that are trying to make professional basketball a way of life. And that's one side of it. We also go into the community. We do camps for kids, basketball camps, and we talk about life. We talk about basketball. We talk about a lot of different things. And after going to China with him on a tour to play professional in China for about a month, we put our heads together and tried to come up with a couple of different scenarios. The Brian McKnight All-Stars, that's also affiliated with Dream Builders, and the Union Rescue Mission. We're all partnering together to take this vision to another.
Doctor James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
And Odyssey.com.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phases and stages. These are your experiences that teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James Cooley is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. Dr. Cooley is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I'm just so inspired just listening to this young man. First of all, talk about God. Secondly, talk about his teaching, talk about the things he experienced and that led him to what he's doing today. But most importantly, teaching our youth and young adults what life is all about, and that you can achieve and attain any goal you set your mind to. So if you want to be part of this great conversation, you can be 2 ways. You can call in at 1-866-577-2473, or you can go to the comments section and just ask this great man any question. Eric, I want to pick it back up when you said that you developed and you said, hey, I'm going to take 2 pastors along with me everywhere I go. Can you pick it up from there?
Yeah, 2 pastors. Dr. Michael Edwards, he was the pastor of my church called Wind of the Spirit Worship Center out in Riverside, California. He's actually still my chaplain for my prep school today. So that was 20 plus years ago that he started with me. Also, George Bell, who was his assistant pastor at Wind of the Spirit. George actually worked at the Union Rescue Mission with Ralph Plum, who was the president, who is a good friend of mine right now, and has the one that brought me into the mission to do the after school program for homeless kids. So I ended up taking those two individuals on trips for at least 12 to 14 years. We went on multiple trips, along with my COO, Victor Stully, another Christian guy who just came in and said, Vic Stully was instrumental because he worked for UPS, and he had a background, came from USC, had a background in business development. And he said, well, God told me to come to you and teach you how to be a CEO. And he said, I'm going to be the COO. And he sat and talked to me every day about how to be a Christian man and run a company. And it all came through the first meeting with Pastor Michael Edwards, introducing me to George Bell at the church. Then George introducing me to Vic Stully. And, from there, I learned how to run the company, how to be a CEO. Luckily, my wife was an accountant already. So the financial part of it, I've never stressed on finances ever in my life. First of all, because God is in control of all of this. And secondly, my wife is smarter than you can believe. And she's going to know, what to do financially when it comes to taxes and all those things that we fall prey to. I've never even thought about it. And so God has just, got me to the point where he says, look, young man, when I tell you to go, just go. Don't even worry about what you're going to eat. Don't worry about what you're going to wear. Don't worry about what you're going to drive. Nothing. I got you. Just go and do it all with everything you got. So I've never had fear. Once I'd signed that list that I had, I never had fear to walk out, because God has shown me, me and my wife driving down the street, gas looks like it's on empty. We rolling for 30 minutes in Belgium in the middle of the dark, and it's like it's on empty. It's on empty. The light is on, and we get to a gas station in the middle of the night, and somebody pumps our gas. After they finish, we paid them everything. After we finished, we looked around. That dude was disappeared. Wasn't there. Went to the attendant. Hey, where's that guy at that pumped the gas? There is nobody to pump gas. He pumped my gas. There is nobody to pump gas.
Wow.
Hey, guess what? We're driving through the city in Germany a week later. The light comes on in the car. So we're like, we got 30 minutes, 40, because we just did it the other night. That sucker ran out on the street right there. And that let me know God put me through 30, 40 minutes of driving with that light on. And I didn't drive with that light on more than a little bit before we cut out right there in Germany. And that let me know he was right there with me that whole time. So it was things like that he did to just solidify, I'm in control of this. I got you.
Wow. God always, he have us. And man, that was amazing right now. I want to switch to, I want to talk a little bit about Dream Builders and Cooper International Academy. But before I do that, I want to show this a short video. some reason we having problems with audio here, but um, let's pick it up from there, Eric. So tell us a little bit about Cooper's basketball, Dream Builders, and your prep academy.
Right.
Just okay. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
What is
Dream Builders Integrated is a nonprofit organization, 501c3, that is dedicated to helping youth, young adults, and aspiring professionals to reach their dreams. Our slogan is turning dreams into reality. So kids grow up with ideas of what they want to do in the sports, music, drama and dance, art, and technology fields. What we want to do is give them the opportunity to do those things at a young age, and use it as a carrot that they get their education, to get their character, to understand how to be led by Christ and all those things. Once you get the platform, then you at least have the character to go with the platform. And under the umbrella of Dream Builders, we have a plethora of programs. Cooper basketball is the basketball part of it, where we have Quick Shot, which you saw the video of the kids program. We kind of treat it like a 24-hour fitness membership. You get a membership to Quick Shot, and we have locations all over, and you can just go to any location that you want to, and you'll get the same quality training for very, very cheap price, because it's normally very expensive for kids to learn how to play basketball and learn the fundamentals. It costs $30-$40 an hour. Well, with us, it's sort of like $3 a workout, $2-3 a workout. And so we just do it to reach the community and to get the kids, active and things like that. You have Cooper International Academy, which is a prep school that was developed 8 years ago. And we bring over kids internationally, kids from Africa. Right now, I have kids from 9 different countries that are staying here and learning basketball through us, plus our local kids. And we're trying to get kids prepared for college. So they come in, they work out 6 to 8 hours a day. They learn the etiquette, they learn the dress, they learn the talk, they learn everything they can about going to play college basketball. And we teach them how to get recruited, help them to get recruited, and then put them back into the market and get them to college. That's it. You can come you can finish your senior season at a high school and then come to us. The NCAA gives you 1 year. So that means I have 1 year to get you ready, run you, lift weights, do everything I can to get you ready. And then I get you in college. That's kind of what it is. People from overseas are coming from everywhere in droves to get it. And so the biggest thing is us using Dream Builders as a nonprofit to raise money to try to help subsidize these families. A lot of basketball families don't have money to pay for things like that. So we're out there trying to raise money and look for donations and things to help.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how can that sounds amazing. How many students do you have in that academy at one time? Do you say you got over 9 different countries that's
Yeah.
there?
So every year I try to bring in 2 to 3 teams worth of kids, because it's hard to take many more of that, 2 to 3 teams. And so each team will have 13 kids on it. And we will travel to Europe. We'll travel to Mexico. We travel across the country. We've been to Virginia. We've been to North Carolina. We've been to Houston. And we just travel, play the highest level of basketball, and get them prepared for the next level. They don't know. A lot of kids have never had the type of training that we give them. And we treat them like pros. They work out for 8 hours a day.
Hey, tell us about some success stories. Some of the kids that went on and graduated from your academy. Tell us what some of them are doing right now.
Right. I had kid 2 years ago. He's at Weber State now. Alex 2, great kid from England. He played really well for me. came in 6'11", 240, got a scholarship. He's out there now. We had if you go to our website, you can actually see all the players. You know, we had like I told you in before we started, we had two kids that went to school in Japan. You had Jeremiah Moore, Anthony Langston, Koto University, and Fukuoka, Japan. We have had Brandon Thomas, Hope University. I can just go through it. Brian Hilliard, Life Pacific Bible College. Jonathan Clark, Wimberley, San Diego Christian. Elijah Nanabu, Fort Hays State University. Latrell Standifer, Cal State San Bernardino. Kendall Lauderdale, Albany State. It's just a plethora of names of kids that come through our program and get to that next level. We a bunch of them. I've had one kid I got at 10 years old, and I was his only coach. Grant Jarrett. He became a McDonald's All-American, helped us win back-to-back state titles, and then went on, got drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the day after he gets drafted, we fly into Oklahoma City. Sitting at the table, at the interview table, he reached over and said, "Coach, out of all the things that we've done, you taking me to China at 13 years old and 16 years old were the biggest things I've ever done that motivated me to keep doing this. And I want to thank you."
Wow. You know, we got to take a station break, Coach, but when we come back, I had to throw in the mix. You are a head basketball coach at high school, and you're running all these academies, and we want to talk about all of those great things. So we're going to pick it up right after the break. And if you want to be part of this great conversation, that's 1-866-577-2473. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phrases and stages. These experiences teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to It's Your Life with James Cooley. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get you equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
James Cooley. I am the founder and CEO of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, Options, Opportunities, the Choice Program. Our primary mission is to help build the foundation of our youth and young adults and communities. And we encourage everyone to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. And the way that you do that is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are here for a purpose. You also have to be able to step out your comfort zone and do things that you probably didn't think that you can do.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show.
It's Your Life. Dr. James Cooley is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. Dr. Cooley is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I tell you, this is an absolute pleasure having this young man here today to share some of the things. I mean, I call it hope, dreams, and inspire. Inspire to be whatever you want to be and knowing that you can do that because you have to maintain hope. So before we get started with this, Eric, I see that we got a question. 50 years from now, what's your expectation for those that touch you and those you touched? I think that's a fantastic question.
Right. 50 years from now, what I really hope is that the individuals that got something from the program that God has given me, that they forward that to their generation and forward it tenfold. You know, take a look at the things that were done and the lives that were touched. When I started Dream Builders Integrated, I heard you talking a second ago about you got to believe in yourself. When I started Dream Builders Integrated, I originally made it for Magic Johnson. I wrote the whole program for Magic and told Magic he needs to run Dream Builders because he's the guy. And he loved it, but he didn't move on it. And so one day my wife was like, why don't you do it? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not Magic. You know, I can't. How am I going to do that? You know, and, you know, after some prayer, you know, I decided to do it. And like you said, a lot of it is believing in yourself, believing that God has your back, and then going out there and doing something great. So I hope the kids or people who went through our program would take the knowledge that we've given them and more, and then take it and forward that to their generation so that they can do greater things than what they had imagined.
Wow. That's so fantastic. You know, I gotta ask you this question, man, because you're doing so many things. Plus, you coaching a top-notch high school basketball team. You run a
Chino High
top-notch
School.
program, Argentina, and
Yep.
I mean, how do you manage to do all of these things without burnout?
Right.
And you know, just
Wow.
like talking to Doctor Ralph Plum, you mentioned him earlier, and it's just everything just there. It shines. It's
Right.
I mean, you give 150% of everything you do. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners what does it take to maintain that level of greatness? I mean, I call it greatness because everybody can't do that,
Right.
and be able to teach. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's sort of like if you're gonna own a McDonald's, are you gonna cook fries every day? You got to ask yourself that. You know, you might love cooking fries, but at a certain point, you have to teach somebody else how to cook the fries. Somebody's gonna have to know how to do the hamburgers. Somebody has to know the marketing. One good thing is I learned everything about my company, how to build a website, how to do desktop publishing, how to get the technology. I knew it all before I really got to going. And I got to give props to my assistant coaches, Coach Manuel Alba, Senior, Michelle, Franco, and Ronnie Wills, Gary Edwards, my son, my daughter Ebony is she's a senior at UCLA and is incredible. She'll come home, work the camp, work the clinic, roll back to school, come back. She's a senior. You know, she's all into this. Last summer, Scottie Pippen was our assistant coach. We coached his son on our AAU program, and Scottie went with us back east, and him and Ebony sat at the end of the bench. And you know, it's just your coaching staff is it for you, your staff, because they do your schedule. They make sure you're in the right place at the right time. I wake up every day and call them dudes and be like, okay, what we doing? You know, where we going? And I just know every day is structured and we have to be at certain places. So you got to have good help. You got to have vision. You got to be inspired and doing something you love to do. I could tell that you love to do this TV show by the smile on your face. Well, guess what? When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine another job for me. Couldn't imagine it. And so that's what I do. When I take off and I go to China, go to Europe, go to Iran, I've been to Japan, I've been all over. And I'm like, what kind of, how is it even possible? So I just thank God for all of this that's going on.
Man, God is good. God is good. Now, I did not even mention about you running a digital marketing company. I
That's
mean,
right.
so
That's right.
I tell you what,
DBI Digital Design, dbidigital.us. We make websites. We do all kind of things, you know.
hey man, I tell you, God is good, man. If you give him an opportunity and let him into your heart and your life and let him run things, and it's great. So we're down to probably about the last 3 minutes of the show, two and a half
Yes.
minutes. What is some takeaways that you want our viewers and our listeners to get from this great message that you're putting out?
Well, the biggest thing is when you see people doing a lot, it's too much is given, much is required. That's the biggest thing. Too much is given, much is required. And so people who hear have an opportunity to really, really, really help to get these things done. And a few minutes a day could help. A message, an email, a text message, an inspiring word, 50 cents, like anything that you can do to help people to do what they do, it changes everything. It changes everything. From all the listeners here, if every listener gave a dime, it would be really important for our kids from Africa who have nothing. They have nothing, and they're here, and we have to take care of everything. So just you being inspired by you guys and getting messages and emails and things like that saying, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing that you people have our back. Regular folks have my back, and they're encouraging me to keep doing it. And I'll wake up every day and keep doing it.
How can people, and I encourage everyone to give, this great man is doing a lot of great things, and how can they reach out to you or donate to your organization?
Right. The easiest way is to go to our website. It is DBI, that stands for Dream Builders Integrated, and then INTL, of course, that's international, dbiintl.org. Or to make it even simpler, go to cooperbasketball.com. One of those two will get you where you need to go. cooperbasketball.com or dbiintl.org. So
I tell you what, Eric, the J.C. Cooley Foundation will certainly donate, and I encourage everyone else out there to do the same. Wow. I tell you, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I would love to have you back again.
Yeah, it went by fast, man. It went by fast.
It went by fast, and I tell you what, I want to leave everybody with this message that I always got to. Always understand that you got purpose, and always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. I tell you, we'll be back the same time tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Motivation and inspiration to help you become equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. This has been It's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley, where you learn how to dream big, think big, and be big in everything you do.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley,